straightaway here is probably almost just as fast as the straightaways at Phoenix.
I think it's a product of a little superstition, and I think most of us who've raced are pretty superstitious.
Let's go to the pits and Jack.
Well, Paul, you alluded at the top of the show as to the problems that Al Unser Jr. had on Friday in the provisional qualifying, only being able to gather in a 27th qualifying spot. He had an engine expire, and he also, according to Richard Buck, did not have the proper setup in the car. Of course, they came back yesterday and qualified fourth, but they did not hit the combination until the last half hour of the pre-race practice session this morning. Once they found it, they took the buttoned up the car, rolled it back behind the garage, and you could tell by talking to Al Unser Jr. that he certainly had something stored up for this race.
He's got something going now, Jack, because he just ducked inside of Paul Tracy going into the first turn, was on the brakes a lot harder, went a lot deeper, and took second place away.
It's been, Jack, a tonic, hasn't it, to the other teams that Penske has had the kind of problems that you described. Of course, they're running very strong now with Al bidding to take to the lead here from Michael Andretti. But this has not been a characteristic season for Penske. Here we are in the fourth race of the year, and they haven't won one yet.
One of the favorite ways to pass, which is what little Al did to Paul Tracy right there, is stay back.
Whoa, they all get around. Whoa, hit again.
He got hit by Hall, I believe. Dean Hall.
And now they're all gummed up in there. Boy, gummed up big time.
DeFerrin down on the inside.
DeFerrin makes his move. He gets around Tracy. Now Teo Fabi's going to give it a shot. Fabi to the inside. Lines up behind DeFerrin.
That's a case of getting to run at things.
Whoa!
Boy, it's close.
Through turn one. Turn two now. Right-hander back for three. Tracy's going to make a move. And he spins him, and Tracy gets him.
That was inevitable. You can't do that going into turn one, but so many times. And pretty soon you're going to touch these cars. They're so close to sliding out of control anyway, and that was inevitable and had to happen.
I think Tracy thought, I'm losing too many places. I got to do something about it.
Well, DeFerrin also is making an issue out of running two abreast going in there. I think he should have known after he made it with Little Al that there's really not much left of that.
We go to full course yellow. The IndyCar safety team already on the scene there. There you get an idea. See that coming up that engine compartment, even if the engine isn't running, and I'm not sure if it is or not.
Oh,
as here comes Michael Andretti into the pits. We're only on lap 16. Al Unser Jr. into the pits. So here now with the 16th lap complete and the full course yellow, nobody's taking a chance.
Pit lane is busy. Good stop for Michael.
And also keep in mind that many of the other cars do whatever the leaders do, so they can stay with the leaders during the race.
They come out with Michael in the lead, followed by Al Unser Jr. on leaving the pits.
So they had identical pit stops. They come out in exactly the same relationship that they left the track.
Now this will loosen things up for Little Al by a whole bunch, because he won't have the real hard guys hammering on his tail now. He'll be able to scientifically kind of work on Michael a little bit.
Let's go to the pits and Gary.
We get a shot here, Paul. You can see the black skid marks that Michael Andretti left when he launched from the pits. And believe me, he got out with less than 2 car lengths to spare on an unrushing Al Unser Jr. It was fractions of a second that made a difference on Andretti being able to protect the lead for the moment.
You're allowed to run 80 miles an hour in the pits, but nobody says that you can't get to 80 as fast as you want.
And I think you got it about the third foot of those skid marks there. Let's take a look as he goes out. Here's the situation that set the whole deal up. And boy, it was spectacular.
DeFerrin on the right.
Through the first turn. Now they both get out. Paul tries to get under him, and DeFerrin turns across the front.
Do you remember this spot? Little Al trying to pass Michael Andretti many years ago, or not too many years ago, I guess.
Another view, same thing.
And you can't get 2 cars right through there going fast. It just simply won't fit.
There it is from above.
Spectacular view from overhead. You'll notice they have changed the inside of that turn, which gives them at least a little bit more maneuvering room. We're under full course yellow, 18 laps complete. The crowd from Brazil, over 100 of them, they're right across from Christian Fittipaldi's pit and showing some exuberance for their favorite driver, though it's hard to choose. There are so many Brazilians racing in the series right now.
And if you think that that's enthusiasm here in the United States, you should see how many people are watching in Brazil. This thing is so international. It's just fantastic.
We give you the rundown after 18 laps. We are under a full course caution. as a result of the confrontation with DeFerrin and Paul Tracy as they try to get those cars unstuck. It didn't look like such a hard hit that they wouldn't be able to get both cars back into the action once they get them unstuck from one another.
Yeah,
So,
but they've already lost too much valuable
What's
time.
this
And also
here?
keep in mind,
what's going on here?
having a traffic jam. Obviously a traffic jam. Because that hairpin is so hard to get through.
Of course, every weekend here at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, it's not just this race, it's a whole weekend of racing, including the Toyota Celebrity Race. Here's Sam Posey.
One of the highlights of the Long Beach weekend is the Toyota Pro Celebrity Race. It's fun and it's for charity. Alfonso Ribeiro, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, does his imitations.
2-2 in the front. I'll see you in 2 and 2.
He won it last year. He's hoping to win it again. Anthony Edwards of ER, Grant Show of Melrose Place, the singer Vince Neil, Cameron Diaz of The Mask, Matt LeBlanc of Friends. They were all here, and the fans loved it. You should have seen the crowd down at the Toyota Celebrity Pits. A visit to sometime actor Danny Sullivan. Grant Show jumped in Gugelman's car to see what it was like. And then it was time to go. They would drive identical Toyota Celica GT liftbacks. They'd had some practice, but as you will see, not quite enough. At the start, in the yellow car, Ribeiro made a move down the inside and moved up into 4th place. You see him here on the left. Matt LeBlanc was making a move, but he missed a gear, and Jason Priestley rammed him from behind. And then Anthony Edwards and Marc-Paul Gosselaar got together and, whoa, bumper cars here in Long Beach. Alfonso Ribeiro wins his 2nd in a row, and $65,000 is given to the charity Racing for Kids.
There's the Toyota pace car bringing this field around under the full course caution. Johnny Rutherford is the driver there, and with the stops under yellow, Teo Fabi becomes the leader of the race. Only the 11th driver ever to lead in the Indy cars here at Long Beach. Now they're still trying to get turn 3 cleared out there. We had problems for Andre Ribeiro, who was stopped on the course, and also Raul Boesel had a problem. We'll check on both of those.
Okay, just keep in mind, Paul, that Fabi and Pruitt, who are shown leading Michael Andretti and Little Al, didn't stop during the pit stop. So that's the reason they're in the front right now. They're 1 pit stop short.
Let's go to the pits and check.
Well, Bobby, what you're talking about pit stops, the radio conversation up and down pit road since the drop of the green flag has indeed been concerned with fuel consumption. The first team to really make a move has been Emerson Fittipaldi's team. They have determined that on lap 60, they will make their next stop. And they've told their driver that it's critical that he comes in on lap 60. Meanwhile, the team behind me, Brian Herta, they've been notified by officials that when the green is dispensed once again, Herta will be brought in for a stop-and-go penalty once again for a pit exit violation. He rolled over a tire. Let's update you on the condition of Raul Boesel's car. They reported in that the car just stopped. They seem to think it may be a black box problem.
The black box is the ignition unit.
Shades of last week. Now tonight, starting at 7, 6 Central Time, one of the greatest films of all time returns to ABC. Cecil B. DeMille's The 10 Commandments, starring Charlton Heston as Moses. The ABC Sunday night movie tonight at a special time, 7, 6 Central. On board Robbie Gordon's car, the camera mounted back on the cowling behind the pop-off valve, which is what you see right there in the front. You can see Robbie's helmet and the 2 little wings coming out of the rollover bar there. Those are the antenna and the onboard camera for the cockpit view.
All right, you see right now the view from the wing or just behind the roll bar in Robbie Gordon's car. Now look at the little camera to the right of his helmet there. Let's jump down and take a look at that view. Look at that. That's down a second look from his car. And I might say that the Derek Walker team has sprouted cameras on this car the last 18 months or so for us, and have given us some of the best views we've ever had, including a great pass that Robbie made at Indy last year.
Robbie Gordon, if you ride with him, runs in 20th position. That was Eddie Cheever driving for the legendary A.J. Foyt just ahead of him. Let's go down to the pits once again. Pat Patrick, who is the owner of that 20 car of Scott Pruitt.
Pat, your ball club, your racing team right here has made a decision now to stay out and to gamble a little bit. How big of a gamble is it?
Well, we're not sure how big of a gamble it is. If we get another yellow, we're in good shape. If we don't, we may have to stop on the green. We will have to stop on the green.
You had to make a motor change after the warm-up this session. Obviously, it looks like everything's working well.
It's going quite well, thank you. The tires are performing very well. Scott's doing a good job. We're very happy.
Okay, that's the word from Pat Patrick, Paul.
Well, they stay full course yellow. I think there was a hesitation there from Pat because he heard the engines come up and thought they might be going green, but it's going to be another lap of yellow.
Yeah. And, you know, I just want to remark on Pat Patrick's decision to leave him out, or his team's decision to leave Scott Pruitt out. I think it's a bad decision, Paul. Whenever you can stop under the yellow, you don't lose anything, or you shouldn't. Whenever you stop under the green, you're obviously going to lose an awful lot. So I question their deal. They're still in the same lap. They're just barely ahead of the leaders, Michael, Little Al, and they're going to get past most likely.
Robbie, they're looking for a sponsor, though, for that car, and I think sometimes you have to run up front to draw attention to yourself, don't you think?
But keep one thing in mind, Sam. Pat Patrick has been racing a long time. He's one of the oldest car owners we have in the business. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, we finish this full course yellow. One of the cars out is Paul Tracy. He's with Gary Gerould.
Paul, what was the situation, and how did you see it from your seat?
Well, it's got boxed in traffic and got passed by a couple guys, and I was trying to get by Joe DeFran going into 3, and you know I couldn't give him any more room. He just kept squeezing over, and I was on top of the curbs, and you know you can only fit one car through there, and I was on the inside, and he just pinched over on me.
Now, last week you had survived on the mile at Phoenix. You got the championship points lead. Now it's got to be a bitter disappointment because that goes away at least for this week.
Well, it does, but you know we got lots of other chances, and Kmart Budweiser car was running good, and we'll come back next week.
All right, we're ready to go green. Back to the booth.
Well, you bet we are. Green comes out. Teo Fabi leads the field down. A whole line of cars trying to the inside, including Adrian Fernandez, who's not in the battle. But take a look at Michael. Take a look at Al Unser Jr. as they come side by side into the corner. Scott Pruitt protects the inside from second.
Al has taken Michael. That has big implications. There's Michael running right behind Al.
You know, it's a question when you come down from start like that, who are you going to follow? Some of the cars in front of the slower cars. Michael picks one, Little Al picks another way. You never know what's going to happen. It's like flipping a coin.
But that was another instance where Little Al outbraked a major competitor. He obviously sets his car up and his nerves up to make these incredible moves coming down into that first turn.
Sam, that wasn't outbreak of Little Al. That was who you were behind. You know, it was just no different than a gamble on that one.
So Al Unser Jr. gets around Michael Andretti. That is a battle for third place. Little Al is there now. The two cars in front of them, Teo Fabi, the leader, and Scott Pruitt in second place, have not stopped. There they are. The cars are lighter because they're running well down on fuel right now. So theoretically, these two can be a little faster.
Yes, weight makes so much difference on road circuits. You go from such slow corners to such fast speeds, and it's all an acceleration race. So weight makes all the difference in the world.
Brian Herta just completed his stop-and-go penalty for brushing that tire.
Remember the great story about Pruitt, who back in 1988 took his life savings of $70,000, bought himself a ride here at Long Beach, and as they say, the rest is history because he broke into the big time with that one move. Of course, he's running these new Firestone tires here, and this is the highest we've seen him run in a race so far this year.
I couldn't be happier to see him linked up now with Pat Patrick. If there was a deserving driver in the series, and there are many, I think you really have to point to this guy. Suffered serious injuries in a test in his Indy car. That's Carlos Ribeiro,
who's done extremely well this year by this race in his maiden voyage in an Indy car.
He had little problems in his warm-up session this morning. He went down and spun out going into turn 6. But before he did that, he was the second quickest car at that time.
Race summary at the conclusion of 25 laps. Average speed is down, of course. We've had 2 cautions, one on the start, and then one when Paul Tracy and Gil DeFerrin got together.
Now keep in mind, you see these 1, 2, and 3. Little Al's the third car in line there. Fabi, Pruitt, and Little Al there. Now, he's not trying really hard to pass right now. He's heavier on fuel, like you mentioned, Paul. But he also realizes, for all practical purposes, these two guys are down a lap.
Also, tactically, what would be the theory, Bobby? If I'm sitting there with a full car, do I want to drive hard or do I want to try and save those tires? Would it make a difference?
Well, saving the tires. You know, I've been watching during the practice deals. I think all the tires are working good. I know that I checked all the temperatures on the Firestone because I'm so used to the Goodyear tires, and they're running very cool here. So I don't think anybody, or for sure Scott Pruitt, is going to be able to hurt the Firestone tires.